Alright, and welcome back to What Would They Think, where I talk about, two characters or more meeting each other. Not so much fight, but more like what would they think and what would they talk about. And today, it's gonna be the what would the TMNT think of Team Korra? Yeah, this is one that's been on my mind lately because there's a lot in common between the TMNT, the Ninja Turtles and Korra's team. You can see a lot of similarities between the two, so I think initially it would, if they encountered one another, it'd be like, oh, mutants! On both sides. Like, they would look, like, the Turtles would look at them and be like, mutants! And then Korra and her friends would be like, monsters! But, obviously after whole fight and whatever, I think they would get along pretty well. Now, starting off with who I see connecting with who. First off, I could definitely see Leo and Korra, befriending one another. Those two would probably get along the most. Both of them have a lot of respect, have learned to have a lot of respect for their teachers, they're the respective leaders of their groups, and they've gone through a lot of trauma in their life. I mean, with Leo, he's gone through a massive amount of injuries, and not to mention he was, in one continuity, depending on which Ninja Turtle you use, he was Shredder's mind-controlled servant. So I think he would really understand Korra, when Korra tells him about the poisoning in her bloodstream. I think he would really connect with her and really understand where she was coming from on that angle. I think he would really connect with her and say, look, I've had a lot of trouble too. I've been through a lot, and I've had to keep my brothers together when when our father was gone. There would be a lot. I think they would learn a lot from one another. Moving right along to Asami and Donnie. Yeah, Donnie Sami, which will probably be someone's shipping now. Donnie Sami. I approve. Anyway. But yeah, Donnie and Asami. Donatello and Asami would just be straight up science buddies. If you put those two minds together, chances are they're going to build something either really fantastic or something completely horrifying. Those two, Donnie and Asami, I could see both of them talking about a lot of, all this different science lingo, and then, it'd be like that scene in Avengers where Bruce and Tony are talking about, how to, learning about Loki's plans, and then I could see something similar along the lines of that, and, Asami talking to Donnie, and Donnie says, finally, someone who speaks English! And Korra leaning over to Leo going, that was English? Yeah, so I could just see Asami's face light up when Donnie shows her all this new technology and, how she would try to use it for her own company. I could see, yeah, those two would be, like I said, would be straight up science buddies. There would be no splitting them up. Man, like, I could see Asami just completely mesmerized by the party wagon, just completely mesmerized by it, as well as, I think she would even be curious about some of the villain tech, like, how could she use the Mausers for good, or some of the Crane technology for good. I think that would be really interesting, and also how she would, how would she react to mutagen? Probably not well. Like, Donnie would look at it and go, like, you don't want to do, no, no, don't do that. So, Donnie and Asami, total science buddies. Next up is, obviously, Raph and Mako. Yeah, Raph and Mako would get along great. The brooding, antisocial members of the group. Those two would, but even though they both have tempers, I think those two would get along because, they're kind of like the black sheep members of the family, of the respective families. Well, friends with Mako. But yeah, I think like Raph would laugh at Mako, would be like, "Dude, you dated both of them. They broke up with you, and now they're hooked up with each other. Dude, how did you fail that?" And to which Mako would be like, "Shut up, Raph." Oh man, but those Raph and Mako would probably get along. They're both kind of brood. I think out of all of them, Raph and Mako would take the longest for them to connect. I think everyone else would be like, "Yeah, this is awesome, Ninja Turtles and Benders hanging out." Whereas, Raph and Mako would still be kind of a little untrusting of one another's respective groups. But yeah, I could see them connecting. Like, yeah, we both have anger issues. we're kind, our brothers, our little brothers tend to annoy us to no end, but, it's family, and you still gotta love them. Speaking of brothers, obviously you know who I could definitely see connecting, Mikey and Bolin. Dear Lord, no one would be safe if Mikey and Bolin ever hung out. If Mikey and Bolin ever hung out as as having fun, everyone would get pranked. Seriously, everyone would get pranked. I could even see Bolin, Mikey introducing Bolin to pizza. Could you imagine what could happen if Mikey introduced not just Bolin, but the other, to Korra, Asami, and Mako to pizza? I think they would try to steal the recipe to take it back to their universe. But yeah, they would look at it and be like, we don't have any kind of food like this in our world. This isn't like Fire Nation food or Earth Kingdom food or even, Air Temple or Water Tribe food. This, I could eat this forever. And to which Leo would be like, yeah, I would recommend not doing that. You'll die. But yeah, that would be a great scene of Mikey introducing Bolin to pizza and him getting a pizza addiction. Admit it, that's exactly what would happen. But those two would constantly prank, especially those two would go on a pranking spree with, especially on Mako and Raph. Those two would probably go on a total pranking spree against Mako and Raph. And I can even see, Mikey doing some skateboarding and Bolin earthbending a makeshift skate park out in Madison Square Garden, and just be like, bruh, dude, you're like an instant construction crew all wrapped into one awesome dude. But yeah. So finally, the members I could see connecting is Tenzin and Splinter. Tenzin and Splinter are both very solemn. They're both very, they both look out for their respective families. I could see, Tenzin and Splinter connecting on that they're both teachers and talk about their students, or talking about their respective families, and Korra, share stories between each other of their teaching methods. Because, both of them have very similar teaching methods when you think about it. They're very much like, look, you've got to power through this, and, you can find your way, always instilling their students with confidence. So, I could see both of them even trying to, Splinter generally impressed by, airbending techniques and airbending training, and be like, yeah, I think I might use this, where I could see Splinter look at some of the movements that, Splinter teaches the turtles and be like, yeah, I could probably convert that into airbending training. So yeah, Tenzin and Splinter would be a great mashup, a great meeting as well. So, among other things, I could imagine them swapping stories, the turtles and, Korra and her friends swapping stories to one another, just to pass the time. They'll be like, so let me get this straight. Your uncle merged with some dark spirit, so in response, you became this giant spirit god thing, fought him in the city, and destroyed him. That's awesome. Yeah. So I think that would be a lot of fun to see, them swapping stories. I can only imagine what Korra and the others would imagine of the Krang, or, Krang himself, or Shredder. Korra would look at Shredder and be like, wow, you remind me a lot of someone I know back home that got blown up. Yeah, so that would be, it would be nothing but a ton of fun between them. And I could even see, Bolin trying to copy some of Mikey's words, like cowabunga and all that. He'd just be like, I love being a bender! And Mako looking back at him going, don't ever do that again. Seriously, bro, no. Or Bolin trying to say, booyakasha or cowabunga, and Mako putting his hand over his mouth and going, no. No. So, I think it would be just a ton of fun of the Turtles and, Team Korra hanging out together. I think that, and that would just be nothing but fun through and through. But you guys tell me, what do you guys think would happen if what would the TMNT, the Ninja Turtles think of Korra and her friends? You know, what do you think kind of stories they would tell to one another? What do you think they would learn from one another? And who do you see hanging out with who? Anyway, so once again, hope you all enjoyed this, and I will see you guys later.